Waduman kuma body a bony pabata and nipaho, Wobia dan and yonko, Yesu and Suan de Rasio, Wobia when you do my what did you go or mine. Walk one and you go see enough for you, we need to share them out, would be an any cosonija. Obretini kukodu for Eja Womo and Kunimaba, Agrana Leriquaba, Akasano Makasa French and Wobiana no our boajo. Asana na Febia when you bonuswa will have to check. Walk on in a banana neighbor. A John no be non tabby, Eja Woman and Mediasam. Asa Chilina, Panawasa, Meja Womas, Magiaba, Waterman come over by Shay and said, Yenis, I was swore, any Jenny Agra womb. I feel when you have been here, I see us anymore. A bassa while you're a person would tell me your bow, pursue Tony Skin, a crack. Oh, here's a seven you should know a church skin toner. Now, and no patch of chemicals I would be 100% natural. And I hear a day amount. Who you sue and no a day sasha or pediano and you know. Now, who you sue a chocho shampoo, the conditioner, and a fair hair food. Now, what you know, SCC would train you. Dandruff will be about train you know, Asibia, but your ebeko infection be a number would train you, intimate and ye be and pay with chocho shampoo, the conditioner, and a fair hair food that a tuning and was a precompare at the moment. I don't take homody, not Mount San Chocho product, I would do a mobile swing in Chocho tea and a fair Chocho BP. You know, I would drama. I would cheer me BP na Hawaii. I know Pebia, my Chocho BPT, and you beverage. I will be taking early in the morning. A beboa with yepa. Your product in a supermarket. I hold up malls. I hold on in a town, pharmacies, chemical shop, and a herbal shops. I hold on in a town. There was a home in the eastern region. Open to do more to and pay when he any more announce free on 0551 81 5388 0551 81 5388 when he any come more bet me after 0244 727348 0244 727348 after 0504 555535 0504 555535 now when a church for any command of me one more bet you will soon so mommy said your numbers 055 0567 929 055 0567 929 and no any numbers are no pay your day a year Juma anti for messages no ebra or the send you WhatsApp you be kind or the send you SMS you be na ya can kind in answer at the amount na afi etimi abua. Welcome back to a brand new week, Monday morning, the 3rd day of the month of February 2025, the year of our Lord. Na anopeya yatina si you know, and komo ahodo pina no ewo ho enti. Just stay with us na yene o endi komo. Ko report atina si mayema na chi na mema na kwaba. Amaje.
Kwame Jusu.
Na pom to say.
Nyame adomara Kwame aboko Kwame.
Weekend dey ko say.
Nyame adom ekuyi pa Kwame. Akoye pa.
Weekend akoye.
Sensem yantin papa. In someone yet to the weekends no Kwame nkuyi. The kwere ba ko pe ya nka se de nyame ne yadi ni ye. But no man yet to no Kwame. Na enye. Ti any now see fast that for nyame.
Very well. Yeah. But that's it. Now, every point I was in Kano, well, I'll come back to him now. You have a conversation, but there is too much brouhaha about the course in Parliament last week. Now, Speaker Kessben suspended 4 members of Parliament, 3 from the minority side, and a feedback from the majority side. In fact, the majority whip and Speaker Kessben are suspending Urada Fiamapo, lawyer and member of a Parliament as well. But my uncle na yenti Speaker Kessben at the time all professing the sanctions and the members of Parliament and semua waka yenti na yamra yaba yabeto aso edin komo.
Members in furtherance of the powers conferred on me by the Constitution 1992, the Parliament Act 1965, Act 300, the Standing Orders of Parliament, and the Code of Conduct for Members of Parliament of Ghana. I make this statement with a very heavy heart and righteous anger. I am so shocked and very scandalized at what I saw and heard through various media outlets. So what happened at the sittings of the Appointments Committee yesterday, the 30th of January 2025, and this morning. Today, I read the views and reports of our brothers and sisters of the media as to what took place at the first sittings of the committee. The outrage of the public and the people who represent and serve is apt and understandable. What should have been a solemn exercise in parliamentary scrutiny degenerated into an appalling display of chaos and lawlessness, bringing this House into disrepute before the entire world. What transpired was not just a gross affront to the dignity of Parliament, but also a blatant contempt of the House. This further aggravates the already existing low level of trust of Parliament and parliamentarians. I have the unfortunate burden of responding to the disgraceful and deeply regrettable events that unfolded during the Appointments Committee. Such behavior is utterly unacceptable and a direct affront to the dignity of this House. The actions of those involved have sullied the image of Parliament and also betrayed the trust of the Ghanaian people, whose expectations of leadership, decorum, and responsible conduct have been callously disregarded. The Parliament of Ghana is expected to stand as the foremost institution of democracy, entrusted with the solemn duty of upholding the principles of good governance, Kessben, integrity, and selfless public service. Yet, the events that transpired during the Appointments Committee hearing yesterday have gravely undermined these ideals. These incidents represent a new law in parliamentary conduct and is particularly egregious given its timing and recurrence. It is unconscionable that members who are supposed to be leaders elected to serve as representatives of the people would engage in violent confrontations in a setting that demands the highest levels of maturity, emotional intelligence, and statesmanship. In the face of our fathers, our revered traditional leaders and spiritual leaders, our kings, our queens, our queen mothers, the apostles, and our own children. Members could not even exercise a scintilla of emotional intelligence. Aged people who are sat from morning just to assist and support the community perform its duty were treated to these ugly scenes. It is deeply troubling that this is the third time in as many years that such an incident has occurred within the presence of Parliament. Each time, public outrage has been met with empty apologies and no real change in conduct. This House must acknowledge that it is rapidly eroding public confidence in Ghana's democracy, and that such conduct, if not decisively addressed, will have grave consequences for the credibility of Parliament and the future of democracy in our dear nation. Even more alarming is the involvement of some senior members of the House and members in leadership, individuals who ought to embody the principles of leadership and discipline. Their participation in this deplorable spectacle raises serious questions about their fitness to lead and their commitment to upholding the values of Parliament. If members cannot engage in robust debate without resorting to physical aggression, then they are unfit to discharge the mandate bestowed upon them by the people of Ghana. Parliamentary privilege does not and will never extend to lawlessness. The rules of Parliament exist to guide conduct, and members are duty-bound to uphold them. Ghanaian citizens deserve a Parliament that exemplifies discipline, intelligence, and the pursuit of national progress, not one that degenerates into a battleground at the slightest disagreement. The international community is watching us. Our Speaker has received numerous calls from concerned citizens, both in Ghana and outside Ghana, from civil society organizations, from academia, and parliamentary counterparts across the world, all lamenting the disgraceful conduct of members of this House. Today, I welcome my colleague from the Parliament of Morocco. A number of them are here leading delegations to a prosperity dialogue, and they all saw what happened. The Ghana that they are proud of. This unfortunate development is a direct contradiction of the repeated admonitions I have issued to members. Just yesterday, we had an occasion here.
Kessben.
Immediately after that, the worst happened. I have consistently reminded this House that respect is earned, not demanded. The manner in which members conduct themselves determines the extent to which they command the respect of the Ghanaian people. Yet, despite these admonitions, some members continue to act in a way that dishonors this house and its traditions. This must stop. Parliament cannot continue to excuse misconduct under the guise of political disagreement. Consequently, the following emergency measures are to be taken with dispatch. 1. The circumstances of the absence of a Privileges and Immunity Committee. In that circumstance, a 7-member special committee shall be constituted under Orders 5 and 20, Rule 4, to conduct a full-scale investigation into the events of yesterday and this morning. The committee shall identify all members involved in the disorder and submit its report with findings and recommendations within 10 days from today. Any member found culpable shall face the appropriate disciplinary actions as prescribed by the Constitution 1992, the Parliament Act of 1965, and the Standing Orders of Parliament. This does not absolve the chairman of the Appointments Committee from performing his duty under Order 268, Rule 3, which says, and I quote, "The chairperson of a committee shall maintain order at a meeting of the committee and decide on each question of order. And A, where a member persists in disorderly conduct, the chairperson may refer the conduct of the member to the House for determination." And so I expect the chairman of the committee to also submit a report to this House. The following members shall constitute the membership of the special committee. I have not consulted any member, and this is a duty no member can fail or decline to perform. The committee is to be chaired by Honorable Emmanuel Bejra. Other members, Kessben. Honorable Kwame Appiah, Honorable Gisela Akushika Tete Agutui, Mrs. Honorable Abina Osei Asare, Mrs. Honorable Zaneto Ajiman Rollins, Doctor. Honorable Vincent Opong Asamoah and Honorable Bede Anwata Azuma Zeden. That is a 7-member committee. You are to present your report with recommendations within 10 days from today. 2. In pursuant of Section 10 of the Parliamentary Service Act 1993, Act 460, I direct the Clerk to Parliament to cause to be undertaken a full assessment of all damage caused within the committee room and parliamentary presence as a result of the misconduct of the members. Not a single peso of public funds shall be used to repair or replace any damaged property. Instead, members found responsible shall be surcharged for the full cost of repairs and replacement, with deductions from their emoluments, including the salaries of members if necessary. 3. In pursuance of the provisions of the Constitution 1992 and the standing orders of Parliament, I further direct the Clerk to Parliament to formally lodge a complaint with the Ghana Police Service to conduct a full criminal investigation into the matter for appropriate action.
Kessben.
4.
Kessben.
I call for an immediate meeting of the Committee of Selection today to reconstitute the Appointments Committee as a matter of urgency and to set up the Standing Orders Committee to reconsider a revision of the rules for the assessment of nominees for the consideration and approval by the House. If there is any defect with our rules, we will rectify them. The scene that we have all witnessed is unpalatable. 5. I draw the attention of members to the sanctions provided for in the Parliament Act and the Standing Orders of Parliament in the event of a breach of privilege or contempt of Parliament under Orders 34(2) and 36. Members may also see Article 123 of the Constitution 1992. Let there be no doubt, Parliament's credibility has been seriously undermined, and urgent punitive action has to be taken, since this was done contemptuous parliamenti in facio parlamenti. Consequently, the following members are suspended from the sittings of Parliament for 2 weeks from today.
Kessben.
You want me to repeat it? You want the Latin part? Their actions the honorable member is so keen in listening to the Latin phrase. I'm not sure he's studying law, but it's not even known to Dr. Amwa. What I said is this: let there be no doubt Parliament's credibility has been seriously undermined, and urgent punitive action has to be taken. Since this was done, contemptus parliamenti in facio parliamenti. Consequently, the following members are suspended from the sittings of Parliament for 2 weeks from today. They are 1 and 2, the 2 chief whips, in the persons of Mr. Roxon Nelson Eche, Kwame Appiah and Mr. Frank Ano Dompre. 3, Mr. Alasan Suleimana Tampuli. And 4, Mr. Jerry Ahmed Shaib. Leaders from the various caucuses should take the consequential actions to continue with their leadership. But the Marshal is hereby directed to ensure the full enforcement of this suspension in accordance with the rules of the House. As Speaker, I reaffirm my commitment to restoring the dignity of this House. The people of Ghana deserve a Parliament that exemplifies leadership, integrity, and discipline. Members must reflect deeply on their conduct and be reminded that they hold their seats in trust for the people. The events of 30th January 2025 and this morning must not be repeated. If not, the full rigors of the law will be applied. This is just the beginning. And members must know that you can be expelled as a member of Parliament by Parliament. In conclusion, I am deeply disappointed by the conduct of members involved in this shameful episode. Their actions have brought disrepute to Parliament and undermined the democratic values we have sworn to uphold. I wish to extend my sincere apologies to the Ghanaian people for this national embarrassment, and assure them that this House will not allow such an incident to recur. Parliament must and will do better. I call on all members to reflect on their actions, uphold the dignity of this institution, and recommit themselves to the principles of democracy and responsible leadership. With this, I thank all of you for your attention.
Mitro kakamio, minro kakamio.
22 minutes after 8, deliberately, Anna Yashada about the full tape of the Speaker of Parliament passing a year the ruling on Friday at the early hours. Now, Utie, the Speaker Kayana, he's not so much happy about the course last week Thursday at the appointment committee. But in this conversation I hear having Sofo Kofi Odro Edina Noachum Yentienra.
Look at the way Parliament have allowed themselves for just some few people. Show me pictures of few people. Look at what they are doing. Look at what they are doing. Now, Parliament is you went to Parliament to carry tables. You have turned yourself into Kaya News and Kaya Is. I will never speak against the institution of Parliament, never. But look at the way some few people have allowed themselves for Parliament to be spoken to anyhow. You have given opportunity for people to speak against the law of this country, to speak against the Speaker of Parliament, to speak against the office of the parliamentary service of the Republic of Ghana. Few people have hijacked Parliament like this. They have gone breaking state property. You are representing us. We will not do these foolish things. We will never do this insane, absurd, frivolous madness. We will not do this. Your case will be a parliamentarian. That is why we use the word reverend and honorable for them. These honorables are not honorable. These people don't deserve to be called honorable. They don't. We should strip them from the suspension is not enough. It's not enough. And they have the effrontery and the temerity to come speak nonsense like, it is the speaker cannot suspend nonsense. We rather should reject you and remove you from Parliament because you don't deserve to represent us. You don't. To be our parliamentarian, they must be matured. Maturity. Matured. Obi kembu fusamua ye wakwanya ye share hoso. Jesus never carried tables, broke tables. No, never carried tables. Obi kasana Yesu tie. Even in the temple of Jerusalem, when he marched people out, he didn't argue with anybody. The moment he came in and saw the people, he took action. He didn't argue. There was no altercations. There were no acrimonious exchanges. There was nothing like that. It will be a suffer or a material. You don't go because you have lost your cool talking nonsense all over the place like a day nursery child who have lost his toy. You don't do that. People, these are your honorables.
This is Kessben.
You are very interesting.
Your honorables 0550-567-929 0550-567-929 and no any numbers are ye juma anope ubetime e de wadwen training nyina no e de aba yebeje na yakenkan ni nyina no e de amount. So those are some of the except of what is happening with Parliament now. We are told by our intel, likely said the minority leadership in Parliament will be meeting with the Right Honourable Speaker Alban Kingsford Backben, and we'll bring you more details on that engagement. Now, the minority is not so much happy about the fact that Speaker Backben suspended 3 of their side in terms of members, and we'll live to see how things will turn out this morning. Na afeyetimi atuaso edi enkomo, but we'll be getting onto the line shortly. Now, the question also remains: the speaker here, is it lawful or unlawful? Was suspended 4 members of Parliament for the single actor esi ewo hono. Now, utie speaker very well in summing up the ruling now, or say Ojina order 42. 2 and then order 36 plus article 100 and then 23 as well making sure that our ruling no etime I take it for effect. There is a committee I want to say one more and again speaker aka say one more and report a clerk no must report will be our involved in that thing no to the IGP for onward investigation to ensure say the perpetrators will be brought to book now discipline ebeba this and many more ana yene eba bede ho komo. We'll get onto the phone line shortly na yetimi edi ho enkomo. But on the other side His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama has put together a 8-member committee womo ehwese womo betimi organizing the National Education Forum ente enonso ewo honoma yene eba bede ho enkomo. But mamen konamene the Executive Director Edema Parliamentary Network Africa, Samuel Obi Eni Enkomo. Samuel, good morning, as you saying.
Good morning.
Maybe I find here. Very well. Yeah, I trade the now. We all came to terms with DSC last week at the appointment committee during the vetting of the ministerial nominees. Now, the aftermath of it, Speaker has suspended 4 of them who were partly involved with their course. The concerns are that the Speaker is not founded in law. Mame Entio, Mona Modi Parliament and Shishayan in a Juma actually for a very long time. Some of these states, when it happens, quite many as I see a difference.
Suspension of 4 MPs, just one out of a good number of decisions that Speaker communicated here and our rulings that Speaker communicated here on that day. And for me, my emphasis really is not on just one out of many decisions, but on the collective, the Speaker here, the effect of the Speaker here on building back the confidence that Parliament will lose.
Okay.
First of all, Speaker Maakye committee, 7-member committee, Munko Shim, Namunche Ubia and Odifo, and answer Ubia and Humpa video. Now, Munya the necessary recommendations. That then because privileges and immunities committee and can say a so Parliament in say and not yet. By Parliament rules, no more ad hoc committees on between setting up in instances like that. Number 1. Number 2, Speaker, what says Ghana for Nyoma? Mabunkonya any tables. What say microphones near the idea? Ye Ghana poor taxpayers Sikaba 160 FSGS annual man. Clark say Nebo na make sure say one more phone in your better free almost salaries. Number 3. Clark, Konako catch the police say, because the FC, criminal components between your na police in your official investigation, no mun take it up matter. I think so committee appointment committee, because say nipa no more committee, so I webs ya suspend your money.
Yes.
Mun na mun recomposite committee, I don't know just you change the committee now. But someone has suspended your money. You better need the papa flow is on one name. And the ordinance say, and say Parliament and Casa share almost standing orders. Now, you may be a appointment committee need, since it's a heavy woman is almost me. Now, I'm making sure they're going forward. That's them intimates because the appointment committee need over the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
And we've seen some of the things that have not gone too well. Are very progressive issues the Parliament to say that's what we to ma a bit suspension matter in my opinion just 1 out of my 6 Mr. Speaker at the 2 now young suspension matter no so specifically then suspension matter no our Parliament and Remuno certain air coso. Now say Mr. Speaker who will be did me a bon someone. Rules no stress obey me actually the panel say freedom. I mean we are working the panel out for the rest of that sitting day,
Okay.
Right? Number 2, Senyamon some not me so even more. Speaker to me, one point to a suspension. Suspension, almost any other my limits. After say Nyamon some no cost to the extent to say after the local privileges committee. That privileges committee go for. I don't know. Suspension so for in that first time yeah, almost about 1 week. Parliamentary balance, no?
Yes.
4 to 10 days is equivalent to about a week. We are for the second time one. 2 weeks. And then it goes on and on and on and on. And you know, the first point I want to establish is that standing orders mahu kwai Emma Speaker is some forms of punishment. As to whether punishment what they may excessive and I say abroad the normal punishment is work school as we late 2 lashes. Then the late maybe ana teach a boy food into your mouth 18 lashes. Yes, so one kwai say over complaining. And in most instances, especially in this parliamentary case, no, there are laid down rules as grievance about speaker decisions that we take here. Ube take me appeal. Ebini say ube by way of a substantive motion. Say Mr. Speaker, me file a motion as minority and as majority. You file a motion say asamuna audible to Jano. You know and then it will go through the process. You be voting on the matter. The Parliament decided to rescind this decision. They are rescinded. But I think that it's important to note that whereas we are raising legality matters, no, as some members of Parliament who say they cannot continue to raise legality matters so much to overshadow because when they keep doing that, they are insulting the intelligence of the Ghanaian people. TV. You members of Parliament will be a whole lobby. Now one more coup. Na ye bubu nkonya na ye smash microphone. O say in the friend say in natural justice. As I say, ye fraud. Ye bisa say aso una ojina hui. Aso una wo holy nipa no. Aso una wo bubu table no. Yes, we are expected to be given a hearing, but there are interim measures that they taking to make sure say number one, it will forestall confidence. Ghana for last week. Because normal sir akoko koso over the years obia anka want them. It is a sensitive side biomo na parliament no reputation so na no. Until there was a need for some substantive things to be done. By all means, in a democracy they have every right to appeal to these matters through either parliament and other whichever platform, even including the court. But while they do that, I think that it's important that members of Parliament very Ghana for. I'm more waiting who say tomorrow they are sure Muntano. They are sure Munta because I'm more representing. So who are me MP? Now me queen. Then so who are call representing Wako Kuna Musa? The mommy. And you must be able to take responsibility for that. And I think that it is in the spirit of that responsibility. And normal SEC in the past, the Brununti and a speaker, course, so And for me, we need to commend him. Of course, by all means, the areas are called excessive, no?
Yeah.
The systems must correct that. But we must not condemn the entire process.
Excessive, no, which aspect? Because...
Well, I do not see any excessive, personally. But members of Parliament, they raise the minority caucus, almost a statement, almost the app, actually, say, Adentina, minority for me and majority me by company, a punish here, Adentina, I am more hearing. In fact, almost describing your man almost say no parliament so as minor property damages. Minor. You know, it goes to the mindset of how they see some of these things as members of Parliament. And I think it is very, very insulting.
Very well. But I mean, in right perspective, the speaker might not have erred, right? In terms of parliamentary standing and procedures.
The speaker may have exerted more sanctions than would have been allowable. May is the word I use. But for me, honestly, in this particular instance, I think that we all need to rally behind the speaker to be able to take some of these very bold decisions. To the extent is that he's not being partisan about it. To the extent is that he's not burying the interest of the country at the expense of Onwani egos and as it is, we must support him. And yes, sir, your parliament is a bit degenerated. They see Kenya very recently, to the extent is that Mebunu did not respect parliament, and they were so upset with parliament that they didn't trust that parliament can do the job. So they needed to storm parliament themselves. We saw what happened. And Yanshetni and Salviji a parliament, some of these things have the potential of happening. Yamin Pengu.
Very well. Nyame Mpengu. And we'll look forward to seeing the aftermath of it. The big free mwaba, any engagement, a minority, ACK say me enya hearing with the speaker. But I mean, Obia want the right, and the rules of natural justice will require say Ubetie Obia numasem and sign our professor a year any sanctions against the person. Now, should it happen, say, I mean, minority, are able to justify their cause, the speaker will have to come back on his ruling, right?
Well, if they come by way of a substantive motion, now the two now decided that there be the speaker here, 1 year, but it must be rescinded. That's their own decision, and we'll be here. We'll
Very well, very well. But a quick one before you go. Appointment committee, Juma one more year. Oh, you're satisfied, Anna?
Baby, when you're satisfied,
I didn't hear.
When you're satisfied because your mother during the course of appointment committee, including in your home, MPC last week Thursday, were very avoidable. You who appointment committees in the past. In fact, it is true that this is the first time, the first major appointment committee that in almost new standing orders now, and not for a different kind of composition, right? But this is a committee of leaders. This is one of the very few committees where Parliament are members of the committee, so we are leaders of Parliament. But one are leaders. It is a committee of leaders in Bonia. You can imagine what would happen in committees that do not have majority of their members being leaders. And the major worry, and I think it's a committee name, and they must be doing a lot of self-introspection as a committee. When you every day, I say we review the next day they must seek to improve, continuous improvement. When we see that they are improving continuously, we may forget about the ills of the past because we remember say a new parliament, new committee, they were learning the ropes. But if every single new day, Nanyoma Air Kosono is getting even worse, then we will have cause to be worried.
Very well. Sammy, I'm grateful for your time, Manopay. Mami Nawas. And that is the executive director for Parliamentary Network Africa, Russell Waller, been speaking to us on the sidelines of the ACOSO in Parliament. But before we go on that issue, because in our report, Global Info Analytics, okay, any Ghana for Akasa about a Juma, the appointment committee, area. Now we'll come into it. Now, you heard some of the concerns are Ghana for entirely raising about this particular a Juma appointment committee area. But you as a Ghanaian, you're satisfied with appointment committee in Juma or Moyana, especially the chairman of the committee. Many have said, you're weak. The reason why the air coso. But in a 25-page document, Global Info Analytics at the report, at the aba. And we'll go into it at the latter part of the show. Na yetimi ama wahu the Ghana for the dona so adwen eye womo ewo eye appointment committee na adwuma womo eye ho. Marembra na African Ziga so na maintain kakra on this and sana yasanko ahomane so ye wia ye beba na ya bedi nkomo because president has set up an 8-member committee womo eba be make sure say there is a comprehensive forum ebeboa ma individuals, groups, parents, students obia or matabia as a stakeholder within the educational sector omo edi omo adwen traba for a total overhaul and review of Ghana's educational system, not just the free senior high school, from basic level, UTA president, or say from the basic JHS primary, Equa, Kosi tertiary, and then even including the vocational and technical education, there must be a comprehensive policy. Yebeka said Ghana as a nation, when it comes to education, your policy ni enti we ana yede adwuma. Political parties should be invited per the terms of reference Omampenyi Ediama committee no say within 2 weeks as I say omoma no roadmap ebetime amasa National Education Forum no etime abaso. But nana mamembra also na mintio kakra ewo parliament issues no eho na I deliberately played the ruling of the speaker. It was so long, but we needed to listen. Na Ghana for ehu baby sanctions, Efria Eba. Speaker Backben is not so much happy about the development occurred last week. Mami Ntio.
Yes, Kwame. Mr. Dankwa, Madam Chiano. Kwame, Papa na ya dibia to say Ghanaians have started paying attention to him. Yes, because the people that opposed Musa Dankwa today they are paying attention to his works, and they have apologized to Musa Dankwa. Okay, I said there was a time now Ujina has said about 7 questions because I was not convinced the works the Juma but it looks like everything that he said
has come to pass. So baby obia the Juma yes Chiano why Juma pa it's Chiano Kwame Speaker Backben. But so report to you on the bar just before you go there. Report to you on the bar or said national opinion poll on president's performance and appointment committee assessment, and it was issued as at yesterday, 2nd February, which is Endra, right? And we'll come into the details.
Okay, Kwame. All right, Kwame. Reverend Kofi Oduro. Onyabotre. Onyabotre na seven producer. Untimi enfa emotions enkasa because how he spoke,
it
looks like onye well versed our parliamentary
issues.
Because Kwame, you cannot describe a world parliament as foolish. It is wrong. And then emotions. And yes, puppet it gives you the audacity to describe parliament as foolish. Ghana constitution does not recognize any religion. It is a puppet anymore. No, somebody does not recognize that the constitution and recognizing religion. Because freedom of speech, freedom of association, religion, whatever, but and recognizing any religion. It is a opportunity now, Kasa Kwame. Don't be driven by your emotions. Any normal want to say. You call parliament foolish if Ojaba sabin prebiasa. Soften your friend Ojaba. When Jane Yerohona wakofa or ba kotchen prawe chenwa aba fire no awodi nyambrasem no Kwame. I cannot describe all men of God as foolish.
Okay. Now, that's some nominate the Honorable Indusa Fuseni in Nkomo Emra, former member of Parliament and then former chairman for the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee in Parliament, ranking member, former. Indusa, if you can hear me, good morning. Pachompom to say. Very well. I'm so grateful, sir. Yanyawa, Yanewo, Edi, and Komo. First of all, I mean, you are very much aware of the incident that occurred last week, Thursday, at the appointment committee, the misunderstanding a lady to the destruction of parliamentary properties and the Kahunina. Speaker Backben has given a ruling. The ruling comes with a lot of sanctions. I mean, he has said the members of parliament or finding themselves as culprit of what happened must be able to pay for those properties that were destroyed. I mean, the utmost of it on. So, you suspended certain members of parliament. But on the minority side, they have said, this is quite undemocratic. It is not founded in law as per the standards and then procedures in parliament. Mamintio, as a former Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee member and ranking, I mean, when things like this happen in Parliament, what is the best way out of it?
Well, first of all, my yeah, dream and say what happened in Parliament at the appointments committee, and so on, cannot be justified and defended under any circumstance.
Okay.
And yet democratic.
Kessben.
And so and yet parliamentary.
Mm.
In fact, it's a scar on our parliamentary practice. It's a blot on our democracy. Because I don't think they work MRA. I don't think they work constitution.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the parliamentary committee on why you standing orders. I don't think. Say, a bus say, yen I dream what assembly home. Then we resort to the rules. Then the rules no can.
Kessben.
Then we apply the rules and resolve the matter. Consensus no say, and this part of the rules of parliament. Say munyina munya a dream what assembly so. Uber to aba to determine which decision to take.
Okay.
That's a consensus. And it's a democratic consensus. And a point ni ho a point ni ho say you see giddy basa and one day and for decision. It's not democratic. It is condemnable with the vehemence of all Ghanaians. The democracy is so. It's very expensive.
Yes.
Yes, say sika. Be brave. Skadia, ebetimasi schools, ebetimasi hospitals. And they are too above because we want the peace, security, and development of this country. And they are yinipase omunko he say am omanyi beko yie. Yan say sika say omunko tu atwade. Nyanti na say sika no. So what happened in the parliament was a toxic mix of immaturity
Kessben.
and impunity. Because mature people will not behave that way. And people who are responsible and know they are accountable will not behave that way. There was immaturity and there was impunity. That we should not tolerate in this country. Fine. Makasawi, Speaker, or your presiding officer, on your member of parliament.
Okay.
No, she can your member of parliament.
Kessben.
So we a member of parliament to know by you as speaker. Where's the no opposition?
Yes.
So do a job. Or a member of parliament yet to buy you or resign in a position. And then I did Bena I have for about parliament.
Yes.
Speaker precise. On your parliament member of parliament. The peer review system of parliament. Then I say yanti committees. Then the parliament appointments committee or move 30 members of parliament peer review. Then obiye boni wo parliament privileges committee never so privileges committee no omo members of parliament. So into peer review. Because a debut was and Fata said member of parliament and yet the members of parliament no omunim sa de Fata no rules no society sir. Now here new standard orders no Obama speaker power B kakra, and I refer specifically to order 129 and 130. 129 and 130.
Okay.
Omama Manos, new standard orders now. What me can mawuti for ntie. Because me the kind cars are no. No member of parliament be or the or na the call 35. But 129 and 130, a must Speaker of Parliament the power to suspend a member of Parliament for disorderly conduct for 2 days, for 4 days. Say a repeater for 8 days. Say a repeater for 12 days. So in that rules, man, who be a speaker a war a Honda or to me to suspend a member of Parliament for 2 weeks. So even if you say that disorderly conduct, a warranted sanctions of the speaker is for 4 days.
It's for 4 days.
For 4 days. Initially for 4 days. A repeat 8 days. A repeat 12 days. Now that's number one. Number two, disorderly conduct, here standing orders is disorderly conduct that happens in the face of the speaker. So speaker presiding. Now obi a disorderly conduct. Speaker, and after upon all exhortations, the speaker can suspend that person. Now, I did the say SC committee level. So does the power of the speaker extend to the committee?
That is a very interesting question.
So now speaker so assemno TV so ana oti assemno said the yen because no one hobby. Can you take a decision based on assembly oti and add their own Can you take a decision based on that?
Yes,
so,
by precedent,
speaker. Yes. Tell your speaker. So I'm putting you under the line. And the speaker, say, who have provisions now? And mama say, because a democracy, see, say the I can't about democracy. In a democracy, decisions made or taken can only be justified if they are made or taken through a commonly accepted procedure. So, any rule of law, no. And that's the key to democracy.
Interesting. Council, maybe order 129. And this is what it says. One is a member, minister, or deputy minister. First of all, the title is disorderly conduct. Yes, disorderly conduct. Now, the first one says that a member, minister, or a deputy minister engages in disorderly conduct where the member, minister, or deputy minister persistently breaches these orders. 2. Despite order 1233, where the speaker calls the attention of the House to the conduct of a member, minister, or deputy minister who persists in irrelevance or tedious repetition either of the argument of a member, minister, or deputy minister, or of the argument used by another member in a debate, the speaker may direct the member, minister, or deputy minister to discontinue the speech. Now, 3 says that the speaker may order a member or minister or deputy minister whose conduct is persistently disorderly to withdraw immediately from the House during the remainder of the sitting of that day, and the member or minister or deputy minister shall withdraw immediately. Now, you go to 4. He says that where the minister, the member or deputy minister disregards the authority of the speaker to withdraw, the speaker shall invite the marshal to act on the order, and the speaker shall suspend the member or the minister or deputy minister from the service of the House for a period not exceeding 4 sitting days. 5. Where the speaker considers that the sanctions under this order are inadequate, the speaker may name the member, the minister, or deputy minister. Okay. 6. Whenever a member, minister, or deputy minister is named by a speaker Immediately after the disorderly conduct, the majority leader shall immediately move a motion or for contempt. Yes. Failing that, a member may move for contempt. So, I mean, these are the provisions. Now, a quick one. You mentioned Order 130 as well. The title says that suspension of member for disorderly conduct. Now, 131 says that where a member is found to be in contempt of Parliament under Order 129, the member shall be suspended immediately from the House, and unless the House otherwise decide, the suspension shall be on the first occasion for 4 sitting days, on the second occasion for 8 sitting days, and on the third occasion or subsequent occasions for 12 sitting days, except that A, including the period of suspension of a member, the day on which the member was suspended. Yes. So, I mean, these are the provisions of the standing orders. Yes.
So, I'm sure if they, maybe, and that was the MP for Swami, he didn't avert his mind to this. So, you see the power of the speaker. So, disorderly conduct. But if you read the provisions, disorderly conduct, no, a narrow interpretation.
Okay.
So, it's a very narrow interpretation in the sense that, or say, where a member, minister, or deputy minister uses the language of of another member in the debate or engages in debate that clearly is symptomatic or shows a level of disorderly conduct.
Yeah.
So it's about talking or debating in a way that is disorderly. But this one was fisticuffs.
Kessben.
But you see, the fact that the standing orders, and the standing orders are regulations of Parliament.
Yes.
Inadequate, no. It's lamentably clear. It's very clear.
So even in this case, share a year Order 130 now, what it means is that the highest number of suspension period Miyamano 12 sitting days. Now
and that is on repeat.
Yes, on repeat of the person's conduct. Now, I mean, what?
And that would be consequent upon conviction for contempt.
Okay.
So 132 says that 129 says that a member shall immediately move after the 4 days. No, the member shall immediately move that the member has committed contempt. And then 30 follows there saying that when the member is convicted for contempt, it's first time 4 days, second time 8 days, third time 12 days.
And upon conviction of contempt, you must be given a fair hearing by the Privileges Committee.
The contempt, when the military contempt comes in, you are talking about Privileges Committee.
Okay.
It's a breach of privilege. Military contempt comes in breach of privilege or abuse of power, or so military contempt comes in. You are saying that somebody has acted in a way contemptuous of Parliament, and you can't make that decision unless you go to the Privileges Committee.
Now, in a situation, Speaker, Amma 2 weeks, can we say that he has erred? According to the law and the understanding orders.
What I always say is that where you have difficulty justifying the decision taken,
yes,
by an authority or person, then that decision is problematic.
I see.
That's what I always say. And if an owner to me to do that.
So the minority will be justified in their quest to say, the ruling of the speaker a little bit too harsh, and it affects a number of people.
I'm not talking about justification here of the minority's position. I'm just saying that as a former member of Parliament, as a former ranking, as a lawyer, I have great difficulty at appreciating the power of the speaker to do what he has done.
Yes, but in that sense, it is based on the same ruling, and the minority, it justifies the speaker does not have that authority.
Speaker, I'm not engaged in inferences, drawing inferences. With the greatest respect, Mr. Speaker.
But again, one would say that, with the appointment committee and the work what actually is even the causal effect of the AC, you know? I mean, could the majority...
The causal effect is bad, oh. It's bad. It lowers Parliament in the estimation of society. It undermines democracy. And when you talk about democracy, you are talking about the power of the people to rule themselves. That's democracy. And the central axis of every democracy is Parliament.
People's representation.
That's the central axis. It is a government by the people, for the people, and of the people. That's the central axis. So that's why you can see a government which is not without a democracy. But you cannot see a democracy without Parliament.
Can we say, Speaker, I'm making all these rulings just to, get to know, Ghanaian people, no, and you're so much happy. But for that reason, this is what the Speaker is also doing as the leader of the Parliament. And then bringing back the confidence Ghana for being in the Parliament itself. Now, Yabeka say, we can overlook, the standing orders and then allow this to foster for the very first time.
Maybe so, say, come diwa na omunya diane.
Kessben.
Do you fall in the pot?
No, you don't fall in the pot. you stand or you sit to eat. You don't fall in the pot. Yes.
It will be foolhardy to fall in the pot because you are too hungry, and so you just want to dip yourself in the pot and be satisfied. You get bent by the pot.
I see.
So the fact that the members have behaved in a reprehensible manner or exhibited reprehensible conduct does not in any way justify an overstepping of the rules.
Very well. So, committee near the Jume, they should report back to the House, right?
Yes. That's how whatever happens. That's what the standing orders say. So every committee will have to report back to plenary. Even the ad hoc committee will have to produce a report.
Very well. But so far, you've been there before. Are you happy with the work committee now so far?
We already had difficulty with the committee. Now, even when I was in Parliament, because I see that even though sometimes you get carried away by the interview, by the vetting, but I always ask, to what extent, to what purpose, to what benefit? Because you were in 1969 constitutional, now you practice parliamentary democracy, Westminster type of system. Nti Buzia Breno, so you are vetting ministers. We didn't vet ministers because ministers have to be members of Parliament. Yeah. And all members of Parliament are qualified to be ministers. So you are vetting ministers. There was no vetting. So when you look at our constitutional history, you see that a government has never been formed without vetting because members of Parliament were ministers. Then you come to 1979. So your experiment 1969 didn't work. So let's go to the American system of government. So the 1969 Constitution was a presidential system of government. So you couldn't be a member of Parliament and still be a minister. No. So just like what happens in America, if you are a member of Congress, you can't be a minister of state. So strict separation of powers. So when Harasoya was a member of Parliament for Osu, and then Minister for Education, he had to resign his seat. So the Speaker. So the 1979 Constitution, they imported 1979 Constitution, they added vetting by, and vetting is just prior approval of Parliament. And then the phrase that establishes the vetting committee.
Okay.
prior approval of Parliament. So, 1992 Constitution, we have Article 78(1). It combined the features of the parliamentary system and the features of the presidential system. So,
yes.
So, until the 1992 Constitution as a fusion.
Fusion of the two systems. Yeah.
Two systems. So a member of Parliament can be a minister, and a member of Parliament can be a minister, except that he must qualify to be a member of Parliament. So now the concluding phrase with prior approval of Parliament. Constitutional interpretation, or more ready with prior approval of Parliament to regulate both members of Parliament and non-members of Parliament. Almost 30 members of Parliament. Because if we were to follow our experiences, historical or constitutional experiences, in member of Parliament, they are almost 30.
But Honorable, what actually becomes of the appointment committee at Jumomoye? Because, I mean, vetting Ukraine now, non-scoring, nominee, nominee may appear before the committee, score the performance, and then once the performance are not scored, the competence is near there. It is just for the public to decide.
Mr. Speaker, again, answer a question, Mr. Speaker. Are they testing the competence? Are they vetting to establish the competence of the nominee?
That is my worry, because I mean, I don't know the end point of the vetting.
They are testing to see whether the person is eligible, is qualified. They are vetting for that purpose. They're not vetting for competence. Competence is a political question. So if you put a manifestly incompetent person in office, 4 years, the people who vote against you, you don't take them serious. So you are it's a political question. So the leader, Article 58 of the Constitution, vests executive authority in the president. And the president must know that he is accountable to the people. That in 4 years' time, the people will take a decision on his leadership. And so, if a leader knows of this, he does the right thing. He chooses competent people, so that the people will know that he's taking them seriously, and they can return him or his party to power. This is a political question. I think, in my view, the vetting is intended to determine whether that person is eligible.
Where the eligibility comes from, which aspect? Because, I mean,
that's a very, very good question. So you go back to the Constitution. Because you must be qualified to be a member of Parliament.
But the qualification, you must be 18 years and above. You must be of sound mind. Yes, it doesn't talk about academic qualification. It doesn't talk about experiences.
So you must not be a bankrupt. You must not hold allegiance to
any other country.
You must be a citizen of
Ghana.
You must.
I mean, these are the basics. So, because even if you are not a citizen of Ghana, you will not have the confidence to contest in the first place.
You must be a registered voter.
I see.
So in 1992 or thereabouts, you got a buy and almost on your day.
On your Ghana,
no, on your registered voter. Well, Ghana, but he didn't register to vote in the elections. He joined to be a minister, and that was revealed in the vote in the vetting. And then under for that woman, you remember a woman. There's a woman who owed allegiance to another country.
Okay.
And she was also disqualified. There was a woman, the woman, who brought her from, I think, America or Britain.
Very well. Interesting. But in the future,
the speaker, you should be following this thing. So there are important things happening in our distance, but because we are not relating it to the Constitution, no. And the time the impact and the the reasons why certain provisions are put in the Constitution.
Yes, but basically, no, Honorable, yes, you have mentioned some of the qualification, eligibility tests to qualify you, no. But even with that, I mean, when the people appear before the committee, questions around these angles do not really come up. It's more or less.
That's why we are saying that. So that's why I didn't find anything wrong with that Greater Accra nominee. When they didn't vet it, I didn't find anything wrong with it. Because in 1969, issue in 1969, don't have vetted her. So when people who were not members of Parliament appeared, I expected them to Parliament first of all to satisfy itself. But beyond this our question, the real vote in the last election. Are you a citizen of this?
Obiambisa. Yes, Obiambisa.
The companies that you even have, they were did they fold up or they were bankrupt? Obiambisa.
Wow. Bravo, Mame now as no pay. I know we will talk more. Thank you. I'm grateful for your time. Thank you. And that is your Honorable Yunusa Fuseni speaking to us, bringing us to exactly 13 after 9. Interesting conversations.
Honorable Yunusa Fuseni there, or institutional. Institution to Kwame say, law student. Or Kessben be an Kwame when you are then you learn something from it. But me ya dibi. Kwame be say me ya dibi, but me ba hon Kwame.
Yes.
Mame monitor. Where do I even have to start from? Yes, Speaker Bagben.
Yes.
We see video nearby now. Was say were you shocked and scandalized? Na Kwame me or say Oma address this issue that the consequences beba not even Parliament but Ghanaians. He said it in the video. But Kwame, I'm also shocked and scandalized. Say Speaker Bagben say well you're shocked and scandalized about this development. Because this is not the first time I do it. And I didn't see any now see when you get me. When I hear to Aba, Eddie Speaker Bagben in 2021, the same thing happened. Kwame, it was worse than this. Worse than this because what happened? I was only happy with preliminary.
Yeah,
and it was entire 275 MPC now were in the brawl. You get me?
But now only speaker that's at that time.
I'm talking about say Tono Swaban, but he was there. I'm not saying that he was a speaker. I'm saying that he was there. Just my make you. He was there. It didn't quite say anyone. Yes. And the element a dinyam brasam no sanko for no be that's what Parliament. And they were part of today a normal course. Ya passing E-levy. Who presided on the over E-levy passing? Obidi blade call Parliament. It was Speaker Bagben. Even if not Speaker Bagben Kwane presiding E-levy, there was another brutal brawl of Parliament. And no, that was a 2021. Nimenu Nasi 2021. And no na inform Speaker Bagben and his people to reinstitute the new standing orders of Parliament.
Yeah.
Because the old standing orders not to suspend a member. Kwame nende clear. So eno na nia kwakwanya sa 1-2 na ya yika ho asemi eni na Jamaica wacha say. So eni kwasa we shocked. Ya de bia sida. Na Kwame tiri. Me constituents. Mato about the yi member of Parliament. Parliament na be koto about parliamentary na be koto about yi. Kwame Matwa me the honorable honorable na ba beto no so. The honorable member, the word honorable no generated from the word or derived from the word called honest. You understand? It a dawson wa called the August House of this country. And a parliamentarian no call wa kodi nyambrasam wa gumi men wenye parliament nkwane the party we go manimu ase we gu me na me koto abama no you understand we gu manimu ase we gu constituency nanimu ase enti how do me the constituent no me punish anybody I have to find some punishment by way of voting him out me what
which is in 4 years time.
In the 4 years enti say brand ho edutina parliament was standing orders no aye de be punish wo je be ko atase na Kwame yen hwe speaker Babin there yin kakra meti no ma biase ene de honorable eka resisi an meti no ba bia I have to obaboa be pa because una say wakakra no aduru ho Kwame timi Speaker Babin or see based on a Parliamentary Service Act section 10 the control because I just read the section 10. The section 10 says the speaker shall, subject to the decisions of the board, have ultimate responsibility for the administration, organization, and control of employees within the service. So Obia, it is not only the clerks, it's not only the clerk, not the business, whatever affairs officer, not the cleaners. But even Obia to abayina we adwuma ho no we employee of the parliament. It have control over you. And based on this, and what just set up a committee to investigate the matter. Jamaican what I say.
Yeah.
But Kwame, why do you have to form a committee? Why by the parliamentary standing orders is there? Because you committee no more by
investigation.
To investigate
about
what
happened.
To what happened? To do what? What happened? We have seen the people that misbehaved and we have suspended them. So, if say, Obati committee there, why didn't you wait for the committee report to know, Baba? Do you based on it to suspend them?
So the committee's report, is not just about say omo ebema sanctions ayedebema and Crawford involved. Okay, probably they may also go a step further to say recommendations are investigation going forward no steps A B C D okay and necessary parliament okay I mean to forestall some of these situations NCB and I don't know new additions are ABA
that is fantastic and also I do agree with him say also at the Bema police maybe referring the matter to police that is good and also forfeiting the salary you did replace it again. I heard it from some. But Kwame exercise BTR just a few minutes. Okay, 129 now. Okay, and one. Tiasma make any yepa. Mentino maybe I say, but if I'm displaying my ignorance, then the tier 4 never correct me. Listen to me. Or say, this is parliamentary standing orders, the new one. Disorderly conduct. 129 clause 1. A member, minister, or deputy minister engages in disorderly conduct where the member, minister, or deputy minister persistently breaches these orders. Tell you. Despite order 123 clause 3, order 123 clause 3, no, HS will say where the speaker calls the attention of the house to conduct of a member, minister, or deputy minister who persists in irrelevance or tedious repetition either of the argument of the member, minister, or deputy minister, or of the minister, or of the argument used by another member in the debate, the speaker may direct the member, minister, or deputy minister to discontinue the speech. That is one.
When it has to do with debate on the floor.
Debate.
Now, okay. I mean, we'll put you upsetting.
Yes, then we continue. Say 129 and
about 130 now, and only a clear for the members of parliament. And to call order 130, and then about the specifics. We know for on the floor debate near the course no be misconducting one. But
okay,
order
130 was say it is all kind to na trainer. Was the speaker may order a member, minister, or deputy minister whose conduct is persistently disorderly to withdraw immediately from the house during the remainder of the sitting of that day, and the member, minister or deputy minister shall withdraw. Obeka says Suhini, Jene Baenwa, or Cockfrey, Madame Lydia, a bloody, almost suspending it from the area. That is where. Now, so I say, where the member, minister or deputy minister disregards the authority of the speaker to withdraw, the speaker shall invite the marshal to act on the order, and the speaker shall suspend the member, minister or deputy minister from the service of the house for a period for not exceeding 4 sitting days. I'm not interested in that. But Kwame, he's talking about persistently. You understand? Persistently. I haven't read the 30, but was persistently. So in order say ubetimia suspended the pana, one, why are there no one? Why are there no two? Persistently, then you base on it to suspend that person. Or say persistently orderly. That's what I want, because when we got to do with the suspension, and it is a speaker referred to Honorable Haruna say, if you need to in Kase, onim baby a speaker to me free because supposed to be for this.
So when the dinner maker say, "Oko 30 now, 30 no, specific for members of parliament." Can 30 no?
Okay, what's the suspension of a member for disorderly conduct?
Exactly.
Or say where a member is found to be a contempt of parliament under order 129, the member shall be suspended immediately from the house, and unless the house otherwise decides, the suspension shall be on the first occasion for 4 sitting days, on the second occasion for 8 sitting days, and on the third subsequent occasion for 12 sitting days, except that blah 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 blah. Understood now? Understood now. But also or refer to 129.
Yes.
The 129 a particular twice that he has mentioned.
So 129
persistently.
129 has to do with activities, sir. So
activity 130.
Exactly. So the premier facility must be established. Say o conduct now will put it up in the chamber, no? Okay. I mean, it's a disorderly kind of conduct.
Follow within the 130. No? That's what I'm saying. That the conduct now, Bema 130, no, I suspended. I say should be persistently disorderly.
Okay.
That is where my problem is. Should be persistently. It is like our parliament.
Now, why
are DB? Now, the speaker, was say 1, 2, 3, no, cross 3, no. A speaker catch and remind you almost say, Obiani Huni. So the bitch Obiani Huni. It's why the first one, not speaker 1, 2, 3, now remind you. Now I say another one. I remind you. So I didn't yet persistently disorderly. Then you go for suspension. But happens once. I don't think it's
okay. They are the masters of their own rules, and they will come back to tell us more on that. 25 minutes after 9. I'm pausing. And you bet you him the bag me no. And see, Babe now I see that.
2,000 potholes and one question.
2,000.
That's why I research be 15,000 potholes and our honorable chairman supposed to be.
I was having that. So Babe Koye Jumawa ha brother. Yabana Yatwaso Eddie and Komoma. Men Kyle, men my numbers no 05505679929 05505679929 and no again numbers are ye yusu anope. Mamen ko na men nakseba eni enkomo na anope womo ewo ne ma papa pi na no ede my mo fachi na me ma na fishi apa afi de edi kan amene ne hia ne dog machi
speaker
Now also want to say next for who yeah. Okay, I finish as ye oh.
Sapepepe.
And I trade the ampass. Facheme, Mamu Atinasia check. By any incomo, anope.
You speaker, my member Kwenya Resonament chair, I have 4 near Tiafuina. A business for way and ask scientific by recycling and I'm what and cane. Yankopa Dom, did you make the baby says Wechina? Nti na wo say ma amansan nyina te de ebekɔso wachina edikan no nask scientific herbal research clinic treat afa nask herbal clinic no nyame adom ye branches miensa de di kan no ye wo eye ahenema kokoben uko Ashanti region Kumasi ehwo ne wo wo banka ha de ye wo Taifa ana afie sa wo spente sa wo ba Taifa wo su bisi wo Davi bookshop bisa Fairview guest house ene guest house ne bo ho spentes wo su bisi wo Rainbow supermarket behind Rainbow IT ehwa ene wo abusuafo de bia meka se ade obi a wo hwe me ana wo tie me de na kuma so ade pa ne se bra yare bebe ni peduanim na wobetu na mo se wo kɔ ayaresabea na wakɔpa ayaresa no abusuafo obetimi anya ayaresa ɛwɔ abrɛsi ka bi obetua no enkoye kwa na ebetimi aba ne saa nso dia na wo se nhyehyɛ papa bi ɛkɔso meka nhyehyɛ papa bi na wo se enhwemu papa bi kɔso na yehu yare na ebrɛ hye ase ebra yare na du ansa na watimi ama aduro ama obi a ɔba wo nkyɛn no wanyamfa so ewo so na hwehwemu a kyerɛ sɛ enei senipa eten bia kɔ hospital emu na ombeba no maba mabu efi sɛ aduro kɔnom ye ne ka oboy no wanya so mfa so ebusuafo ade ba kɔ ye no kra mepɛse obi a hyɛ ne nso ne sɛ obi biara obetu ne na si na scientific ba and research clinic no sɛ obabie mu a na waso obi foforo nsa de naba efi sɛ obai wo hu sɛ nhwehwemu ayaye ayaresa na yaboa ama bibia akoyi ne sent wachina program ayeye wo 3 branches no ema obi anyini hu mfrim abusuafo program ni nyina ne se wachina yeye lab ahodo bebre asenke yakɔ hospital bi na ye ni be 5 million anka ye nya maye wachina yeye ni free de to so mienu ne se wachina ye twa scan edi ahwe ye mu niema te se ye liver ye kidneys bema o prostate oba ye twa wa wode na hwe ebia fibroid bi wo ho ade ntina ne bema ni hia ne nso na ba bontin infection bi watutisa enko ye be ye de bonifen gynecological or pelvic scan anka okọ ba bi no wantua be 300 anka wontimi nya no wachina ye be ni free abusuafo de me duru so yi de mepese obi atie ni yie machine de twa akoma de bonifen ECG abusuafo ma menka akoma ho asem kakra ehwemu a kyerɛ sɛ akoma yare na di nipa kɔ paase ne yare bia wo wiase abusuafo nhwemu nso saa kyerɛ sɛ akoma yare tae silent eto de bia woni so mbre utinya wo ya wo ba bia anya wo ya nanso anadwo ba akopɛ awia ba akopɛ bi na onka atiasefo ho abusuafo ye pese obi afa akonya we so na obetwa akoma no eduruma bi obi wo mpa na ditira yeye na wa starting nya signs or symptoms if you say onante kakra na wa bre to bia na woni su bre wo yo basabasa akoma ne timi bogidigidi na ajai wan hwe yada kopɛ wonti asɛm ɔde nti wachina ese brasa betwa akoma no for free enhwemu amaken sɛ okɔ hospital bia na nkuta bɛse 1000 Ghana city to bɛse 10 million aye nyema wachina yeye san hwemu we nyina free na wato aduro anom ama ho atɔ nti wo ba enhyehyɛ ne etiawa ubetua wo card 50 Ghana cedis shano so mame no watua consultation 50 Ghana cedis uwia wawie o qualify say nhwemu ni nyina we ni free said de beye be hu yare no ne hu yare na said de wa ho ade betimi no wato aduro ano mama ho atɔ enam se yegidi se ye nhwemu ni nyina ne hu yare na ho beto ntine ye se waduro ni sanso a sabra review for free if you say liver and kidney anase yare na ehu ye no e wose wo ba na ehu se bibia aye kama ansa na mede number ne betu dwane ti asem we yare ahodo ayesa ye bebre adekwente mani abre akoma yade so ne se edi nipa bebre kɔ ti brada be check wakoma yare bi ti se prostate omo ewo ulcer anoma drosa enko omo wo typhoid enkasemu wonsa yo tititi etu ba bia na pressure ne de bia na ekosoro se de yare ne sitie bia no bra ye nhwe na bibia enkoyi enti mede number yi betu dwa na wa freni ama special code na watu anamo aba no peya wachira na yeye program ne de nanso enne ubetimi aba ma na yeye wachira ubetimi aba ma na yeye just 2 days na yeye program edinka aka se enkra ya water for spenters kumasi aya ahene makokoben number aba friend waju special code no 0244 12 02 69 0244 12 02 69 0244 12 69 empenifo asempa 8 ya na mamenka asem ntwa to bla me de meka sanyina ebekɔ awiye no ya na ya rehosam se yasese nduru a watua ka bebredi ama nanso ya nya hwehwemu bia hu yare ya na yare wosem nanso so e wosa adema no so ne se obanuma do na wie na yare ne nkoye na wakọ baabi isa akọbọka yare wosem afi se wotu na mo so pese okọ hospital bia ko hospital ukọ na ka wasem a ye be hwehwemu ade ama ho ne ehu yare na ama ho duro se de be ya ho beto na mum tie ne ye enye doctor bi na ne tiri mo den enti na ukọ na nche wantwa scan anhwe liver no kidneys anhwe prostate anhwe awediemu enye doctor bi na ne tiri mo den na wantwa akoma no ana wankoye lab te say hepatitis B malaria typhoid wanko check sugar ne boye den ba wede nyame aka yakoma se wanen wachina brana baby bia free na yehu yare no neto aduro no ma ho nye dey ento se wo bus painters also be so Rainbow supermarket bisa se Rainbow IT info behind the building one wo Tarifa also be so Davy bookshop no bisa Fairview guest house yani guest house na bo Kumasi also be so Ahima Kokobin station one for taxi also call NASC obi abechiro for number we na jo special code nebra na yenhwe mu nyina ma free neto aduro ma honto me say wo ba o card 50 consultation 50 yenim say hwehwe mu ni nti o de sikabia betua bia no obenya so mfa so ama ho ayede ato the phone number Abraham de meka sanyina ekwawe no number ne 0244 12 02 69 0244 12 02 69 afa mi ame number o pense busa bia foforo abetime busa ne ama o code o so nso ne 0243